Welcome to another episode of the RAG podcast. And for those of you who don't know, the RAG stands for Recruitment Agency Growth. Since early 2019, I've been interviewing the most successful and innovative recruitment owners to learn how they rose to the top of their game. In season 7, I'm going to be having raw, authentic, and insightful conversations with agency owners, entrepreneurs, leaders, people across the industry. And I want to be learning about their ambitions, what's happening behind the scenes in their agencies today, and their plans to navigate difficult market conditions. I'll be bringing you the latest and greatest recruitment stories every single week on Wednesdays at noon across multiple platforms. Stay tuned. Welcome back to another episode of the RAG podcast. On this week's show, I was joined again by Vincere and specifically the head of product, Kristy Gilham, where we had a follow-up show from the one we recorded in September. In this episode, we focused exclusively on the product roadmap, the things that they're working on right now to improve for you, the customer. I talked about how they come up with, or how they decide on which products to put into action and which they don't. And hopefully, like the key for this is hopefully you're starting to understand that Vinny are committed to the customer. They are specifically actioning the roadmap in certain directions, and they are almost exclusively focused now on that small to medium-sized marketplace. So they're going after making your life as a boutique recruitment company much, much better. We get to the detail of the roadmap. We get to the detail of the plans for next year. And as always, Kristy's delightful. So look, enjoy the episode, listen up, take notes. Again, don't be hesitant in going to their ideas portal if you're a Vinny user and mentioning this episode and trying to get your idea into production. But listen, take notes. Hopefully it helps. Without further ado, Kristy, welcome back to the RAG podcast.
Thank you for having me back, Sean. It's good to be here.
2 months has passed.
It has. It's gone extremely quickly. Yeah, absolutely. So, back in Vietnam with the team, going through our 12-month plan of what's coming up with the product. And we've got lots of things coming up and things we're focusing on. So, yeah, excited to share some of that.
How are you finding just in general the market going into Christmas?
It's up and down. Depends on the geography, really. So some areas are still booming, others are slowing down. Obviously, here in Vietnam, they don't really have Christmas off, so we always work through the Christmas period, and then we have Tet instead. So it's a little bit different. So Tet is the Vietnam Lunar New Year. So they take their time off, and that's in February. So we have a release coming out.
They don't have any Christmas reference at all in Vietnam. Is
there there's Christmas decorations everywhere.
Right.
So there's plenty of expats, so they make sure they take care of us. But they generally don't have like that whole time off like we would. So
Right.
we've got a release coming out this weekend, and then we've got another one coming out on Christmas Eve. So like that just. Yeah.
So if anyone wonders why Vincere have got some weird times with delivery of things, it's Vietnam.
Yeah, that's fine.
I've changed it. Since we last spoke, I've had a baby, so I'm now...
yes, congratulations.
Thank you. She was born, I think, a week later than we delivered it. Like this episode at the end of September is about a week or so later.
Yeah.
So we're recording this early, and I've been awake for hours because I've got a newborn, and that's what happens. But it's as we get to I'm looking forward to Christmas just for that. Just to spend a bit of time with the baby, with the family, not feel like I'm constantly rushing back to work because it's a lot going on.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to take some time off myself, which has probably been, I think, a long time since I've taken, longer than a few days off.
This year feels like it's almost out now. Like I feel like, you can take enough jabs throughout the year, but when you get to like as soon as December comes in, you're like, I'm ready to just get on the ropes now and chill. So
absolutely,
obviously we wanted to follow up from the last episode, and
yes,
I guess we got some interesting feedback, mixed feedback. How did you guys find it, and what was the general chat around your clients afterwards?
So I got quite a lot of feedback direct to my LinkedIn. So I then started a little spreadsheet. I also, checked all the comments that were against the post and reached out to everybody individually. I had some really good chats with some people who, perhaps feeling a little bit negative, and talked to them and just found out where their real pain points were. So Yeah, look, I found it was really useful exercise, and the feedback I got was great. And I think most people appreciated the honesty that did come through. But again, they're still looking for us to continue to improve, and we want to show that we are doing that. It wasn't a one-off. It wasn't a hey, here's all the stuff we're doing, and we can't back it up. So
Yeah.
yeah,
I
yeah,
think I think Nick and I both at the end of that episode as well probably well we probably didn't I probably didn't prepare Nick well enough to know that the audience here is probably not like your massive
yeah,
corporate organize. I mean, you'll get the odd bigger company, but I'm imagining the guys listening. I look at the data of who we get listening. Are probably in your smaller end of the industry. So,
yeah,
boutique organizations that are
yeah.
you know they're really close to the coalface. So some of
Hmm.
the big ticket kind of vision, and I don't think that is as important to some of these people. It's like
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
can't even log a retainer on the platform, and so I got a little bit of frustration from some people going like it was great, but he's chatting like so high level. Can we go back down to? So today I
Yeah.
thought what we could do just me and you was more of a product chat and look at
Yes.
what we're working on. So
Yep.
in terms of your like biggest ticket
Hmm.
items, like what are you specifically working on right now from a product perspective?
So, from a product perspective, we plan everything out in quarters. So, right now we're in quarter two. So, Access does it actually matches the Australian financial year. No
Hmm.
idea. Makes sense to me, but
Yeah.
everyone else
No,
gets
no.
confused when I say quarter two.
Yeah.
But I try and have a really good balance when I am planning these. So, also, we had a recent strategy day, and taking on board the feedback and where we really sit, and we have decided that that mid market, that small to mid market, that's our sweet spot. They're the people we want to be building Vincere for, and so that aligns with the roadmap that I'm going with,
Yeah.
which is again, look, I've said many times, our Vinny loves you, which is our little improvements that come directly from people. I have had a massive uptake in product feedback since the last podcast. So
Good.
thank you to everyone sending through your ideas. So we always make sure we've got a fair bit carved out just for that. Then there's some strategic roadmap items that are around improving our UI, our UX. Like I said to you, like the word that fills me with dread every time I hear the word clunky. I don't want to hear that word anymore. So what
Mm.
we're trying to do is go back,
What's causing it?
streamline. It's the way it was built. It's a quick. It got built so fast. And I did say to you at the time, I was blown away by how quickly they came to market.
Mm.
It was just, where did these guys come from?
Yeah.
And so I
Mm.
think there was just perhaps not as much. There's a lot of MVP, which is minimum viable product for
Yeah.
those who
Yeah.
don't
Yeah.
know. And so it was more just get the feature out there, and we weren't putting that user journey first. And so I've spent a lot of time with my team here, with the developers. Every time I'm here, we run sessions where we talk about the user and the user journey, and how that has to be the most important thing. That instead of going for the easiest dev solution, we need to take that cognitive load off the user onto us. They shouldn't have to think about, how do I do this?
Mm.
So just because it's easier for you to dev it that way, that's not what we should be going to market with. So we're going back, and we're really just improving the features we already have. There's no real new
Can
big
you can you give us some
stuff.
detail? Could you give us some detail on a few features that you are going to change and why?
Yep. So the big ones that we're changing are around the UI. So people know we updated our company and our contact records. The candidate is still to come. We also did the quick add job. So we're going to do the quick add for all of them. And on top of that, we're going to be improving our velocity. So our velocity is our tool that links in with LinkedIn.
Right.
So I am not doing the full LinkedIn integration. The reason for that is, again, a lot of our customers are smaller. If I did that, they would have to buy LinkedIn Recruiter. There is no
Mm.
getting around it. I don't want to put people in that position.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
But what we want to do is improve our tool so that it works more like that quick add candidate. So that when you're saying, I need these mandatory fields, when I'm adding a candidate, that works with your velocity as well. We're also bringing in the emails. So again, that can be improved. We're just trying to make it easier for people to get the candidates and contacts into their database. So we've improved our data import
Is
tool
there
as
any
well.
risk to people's profiles with the integration with LinkedIn? Just because LinkedIn's so obsessed with this, or anything that you automate whatsoever in and out of the platform technically breaks the LinkedIn terms and conditions. You know, we've partnered in the past with a platform called Shield, which is
Mhm.
incredible for data and analytics, but recently we've stepped away from that partnership as a business just
Yeah,
because
look,
too many people getting kicked out of their LinkedIn account. Even though
yeah,
all it does is pull data and show you the data, it doesn't automate anything in the platform. But
I
you're
can,
you're automating the visual of
yeah.
something in LinkedIn, which is ultimately the same.
So what I can explain to you is how this works. So if you use LinkedIn regularly, which you do, if
Hmm.
you were to have a look at your social selling index, so you can go and have a look at that. If you've got a
Yeah.
high score and you are always on there and you're always posting, then you having a lot of activity is not going to trigger LinkedIn. If you suddenly get this automation tool, so these automation tools are completely allowed. It's public data. Yes, they do go and change it every now and then, so we have to tweak things. But it's if you go from 0 to 100, LinkedIn thinks you're a bot,
Yeah.
and immediately they're going to flag your account. So you can't. You have to make sure that you're doing it in a measured way, that you are, not just going in on day one and adding 1,000 contacts to your
Mm.
system. That is going to trigger LinkedIn.
Yeah.
When it does come to privacy, though, so as long as you are adding in people in a considered way, yeah, these tools are absolutely used by a lot of different companies. And yeah, we do want to improve ours that we have there, and we're trying to build in some around that to help people with that problem. We are going to start building in some warnings, and some limits so that you can't go crazy.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah. So
What would you be able to do though from Vincere? Would you be able to like type into Vinny and it'll go to LinkedIn, or is it all the other way around? Is it you can message someone in LinkedIn and it'll automatically store in
yeah,
Vinny?
yeah.
It's that way, yeah.
That's the way it works. And so in Vinny, you can also, their LinkedIn profile will be linked, so you can go to their profile,
Yeah.
and it will check if they're already there. So yeah, we
Can
were
you carve
improving.
someone into Vinny straight from
Yep,
LinkedIn? You click a
yeah, you
button and
can do that
it'll
right now.
yeah.
Yep, you
Yeah.
can do
Yeah.
that right now. But what we want to do is improve that. And like I said, add those mandatory fields so that the data that's going into the system. So a lot of companies want to have, say, industry. Right now, you can skip that field. So if they've made that mandatory in Vincere when they're adding a candidate and not any other way, right now, if you're using that tool, it doesn't make you put that field in. So we're going to, when we build that quick add candidate, we'll be improving velocity along those lines as well. So
Right.
yeah.
Is there anything else? Any other specifics you're working on?
There. So yeah, like I said, the UI. Let me go to my roadmap themes. So we are looking at improving some payroll integration. So everyone would know that we have been focusing a lot on the fast track integration,
Yep.
being an access product. Fast track is really again for that large end of the market. Incredible product, does amazing complex interpretation, but not everybody needs that.
Yep.
So what we want to do is we do have our Vinny module with time temp. We do basic interpretation, and a lot of people then have a CSV export that they might pop into Zero or another payroll product. So what I'm doing is I'm looking at what payroll products are people using and how can I automate that process for them, because they don't need the big payroll. What we have now works for them, but we take away that risk of that file and we give them more options. So I want people to, again, ultimately, when they're big enough, come to the Access umbrella, take all the products, but we still need to give them options. So that's another thing we're doing is spending a lot of time on our API so we can start to expand our marketplace. So we want to expand that. I think I said in the last episode, it was something we never did before. It was the whole Frankenstack um, way of thinking. But there's just so many tools out there that help recruiters in their day to day that I want them to be able to use through Vinny. I don't want it to be hard for them. So we've added I think 40 partners this year, and we've got 20 more in development right now. So we're growing that, just to give people options, so that they're not having to take a certain
They're not
provider.
tied to one
Yeah,
provider.
yeah, that's right. Or if that provider's not giving good service, we don't want that to be the only thing we're offering. So we want to make sure that we're working well with those partners as well. So we've really improved that. We are still doing the temp improvements. However, the scheduler, which is one of my favorite parts, is being revamped for smaller agencies. So right now, it's been set up for really high volume. So the way it works, you can have like 120 bookings in one box. Most people aren't filling at that scale. Most of our customers are not filling at that scale. They just want to see almost a spreadsheet like view, which
Yeah.
it looks it's more like that, but prettier.
Yeah.
But where they'll just be able to see who's where really easily. A one by one, you'll see the name, you'll be able to action from there, you'll be able to that the whole thing's being revamped more for that smaller scale, because it's a great tool, but again, it's just it's it's for high volume, and
Yeah.
I don't want those smaller agencies to miss out on the functionality of having a scheduler natively built, which then feeds through to your timesheeting, because it's just a bit it's too
Yeah.
much for them.
It's not
So we're
relevant.
scaling it back.
It's not
Um,
relevant to all of them, is it?
no,
In
no,
terms
it's
of
not. No, no. So
in terms of your email functionality and the automation
mhm.
around email, I think one of the questions we had from the audience was that the simple things that Bond Adapt could do in 2003 that Vincere can't. And he said it's basic functionality around email templates, wildcards, interview confirmations, like limited options. Can't even include the client's address or website. Emails look pretty, but all the information has to be manually put in. Is there something? Does that make sense?
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah.
Wildcards are a huge one. That's also something we're improving. Right now, you have to add them onto each template, which we are doing as customers request, but we're also in the background restructuring the way it works, so that if you just choose candidate and you say, I want, and then we just add those fields to the candidate. So all of the fields will be available there for you to put into those wildcards. So we are working on that in the background while also continuing to add any wildcards we get asked for, into the specific emails. We're also, what we've done recently, we did put out an email release recently where we have changed the UI. It now looks like every other email you use. It looks like your Outlooks, your
Mm.
Gmails. It feels like just, rather than having a different UI, I want things to be easy for people. I don't want them, again, it's that cognitive load. I don't want them
Yeah.
to have to think, why is sending an email different in Vincere to how every other email works? So what we've done is we have revamped the UI. It looks like all your other
Yeah.
emails. It works like your other emails. You can favorite things. You can put them in folders. And we've got customers right now who are in beta testing for real-time email sync. That's been going well. So we do plan on rolling that out to everyone next year. So they will have their
Personally,
emails coming in real time.
I've never lived in a CRM's emails. Like I've got
Yeah.
HubSpot, which is phenomenal, and it really is like a great system. But I just still live in Gmail. Like it never feel like Bullhorn. I used as a recruiter. I never actually used Vincere as a recruiter, but I've seen it plenty of times, of course.
Mm.
I just it naturally doesn't feel right to sit in a. But I can see the benefit of doing it. If you can sit in the CRM,
If you
you
can
can get
keep
data
people
faster.
there, yeah, yeah, absolutely. That's what we want. We want people to stay in the one system, and so that's where we are looking at what we've built and how can we simplify it. That's also coming along with our other project of adding the in-app training. So we went out and found a tool. There are lots of tools that do this. So again, we had a look at all that could offer, and we are going to be having that in-app training that's just going to take that. How do I do this? Because it's such a big system. So we'll then step you through step by
So
step.
will it be
This is how
like
you
a
do it.
portal where you can type a question and it'll like index different options and things like
Yeah,
that?
so it'll pretty much take you through step by step. So
Yeah.
yeah, it'll come up and say, you'll say, I want to add a candidate. It's a very simple one, but
Yeah.
it will say, go click here. So you click there, then type in name, and it will step by step you through it, and
Right.
at the end
It
you're
won't just
done.
be a video, it'll actually
No,
walk you in real time. Right, cool.
that's
That's
right.
great.
So
That's
that's
great.
that's something we're bringing in, which I think will help with adoptability. So I think that that's one thing I get a lot, even in the product feedback channel. I get things, and I'm like, it can already do that. So I jump on the phone and or Matt. Another thing that has changed in the last 2 months is I have hired someone into my team who is doing product enablement. So you'll see him probably up a lot more on webinars. His name is Matthew Donnelly. Might have
Yeah.
seen him around LinkedIn. He knows Vincere. He's Vinny at heart, and he is going to be putting out a lot more content, helping me kind of get that message. I'm someone who has always talked about features we're doing. I put screenshots up. I'm not protective of that, of competitors seeing what we're
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
doing. I want our users to know,
Yeah.
and I want people to know what we're doing here. So it's really just that enablement, not only of our users but also of our internal staff. So we've got a program now where we are getting everybody to, when they're loving me right now, when we put out release notes, we do a video, and then they all have to do a test at the end, to make sure they've read it, to make sure they understand, and to make sure they know the value to the customer. So
Great.
it's just so important to me that it doesn't matter who you're talking to at Vincere, they're going to be able to help you.
Hmm.
So yeah, we're really pushing that, and that's through all the teams. So not just those on the front lines, absolutely everybody needs to know. And
Makes sense.
yeah, we've had some good pickup from that. And yeah, the other stuff we're doing, obviously access led, around workspace. We'll be adding the button into Vincere. That'll happen early next
What's that?
year.
Sorry, what's the workspace?
So workspace is Access's overarching umbrella that brings everything together. So
Right.
in Workspace, you can, if you take multiple products, it gives you SSO, but it also will
Yeah.
give you your feed. So we'll be bringing actionable items into your feed. So right now you can get notifications and they can get busy. I'm sure yeah, I'm sure you've got a million different messaging tools if you're anything like
Hmm.
me, and the notifications can get overwhelming. So, what we're
Yeah.
going to do is bring those that need to be actioned into a feed where we'll be able to action right there. So, it will say, this document needs to be verified. The candidate's just uploaded it, it needs to be verified. You can do it right there. So,
Yeah.
it's not going to get lost in the noise. So, we're bringing that in, and that's also going to bring in some AI functionality that the Wide Access group is working on,
Right.
that will also bring into the product. So that will go alongside the other AI stuff we have got. We have an AI coach in our intelligence that helps you set your KPIs, and you can forecast based on how people went last year. We have an automation tool. And then we also have all of our search and match is AI based, and we're constantly improving that. But we're looking at other ways of how we can make recruiters' jobs easier, take them out of the admin, um, formatting resumes, that the general BD kind of stuff. You can use the Automate tool for that, but the formatting resumes is one I really want to. We do
That's what I
have a
was going to
tool
ask. I was going to
called,
say, like, AI.
yeah.
How much AI do you see Vinny adopting, and how will it impact the customer?
I think we are going to use specific use cases, and we will get those from our customers. What do you want us to focus on? I also do want to be a little careful with data security as well. Just right now, in how it all works, we
Yeah.
want to make sure that you're not putting people's resumes into something that suddenly everyone can see.
Yeah.
So yeah, we just want to make sure we do it in a really considered way. I have had people in the market say every time I give that answer, it's like I'm avoiding the question, but it's actually really important to me that you understand that AI it can be amazing, but there are also some downfalls, and I
Yeah.
don't want.
You don't actually know, like, where
No,
where
you
that data
don't.
is going all the time. No.
No, you don't.
No.
So we do want to make sure they're really specific use cases, that we're ensuring that your data is protected. Um, Look, and the biggest thing, honestly, that we are working on is the speed of the system. So that is takes up 30% of all of our dev time right now, is improving the technology that is sitting behind Vincere. So we're updating our servers, we're updating our code bases, we're updating our libraries, our security, everything gets run through SonarQube. Something that might not have been a problem last week is suddenly flagged as being an issue. So we can jump on that and make sure that we've updated our libraries, just keeping your data really secure. And that's a huge focus for us in just being able to scale, making sure that your data is secure.
A message from our sponsor, Vincere. Another of their products is known as Time Temp. This is your complete integrated timesheet workforce management solution. It's pre-built, it's pre-integrated, and it's designed so no matter how much your business grows, you'll be able to keep track of every single worker in one place in your CRM. All the changes inside Vincere will sync with Time Temp and they'll be fed back into your account, automating the entire process with two-way sync from your front to back office. Vincere's Time Temp enables you to create shift schedules, search available workers, shortlist and book assignments in seconds. They'll also allow you to track time, track leave, track expenses within their built-in payroll engine. It's called Door Clock. And then they've also got a mobile app for the on-the-go worker. If, again, you're looking to get more from your CRM, Vincere's Time Temp solution is another tool that enables you to perform more of your business-critical processes in your CRM. Find out if you could use Time Temp via the link in the show notes. Right, let's get back to it. Well, that was one of the clients of mine mentioned about your not single sign-on, the two-factor authentication,
Hmm.
and how that affected. Let me just read it out what they said a while ago. They said
Yeah.
compliance can be an issue. We can't use certain things because we haven't set up two-factor authentication and the data is at risk. This means it isn't delivering email templates. We send out emails using templates from Vinny, like temp confirmations or interview confirmations.
Yep.
Been trying to work these out for over a year. It's hard work. We have an
Okay.
exit. We have to exit the system to do it. We've ended up buying HubSpot
Okay.
because the two-factor authentication was just more or they had it with HubSpot and we didn't with Vinny.
Okay. No, we absolutely have multi-factor authentication in Vincere. That came out a while ago.
Mm.
So perhaps at that time it wasn't there. But we do have multi-factor authentication. There's in our release, our most recent release, we are improving that. You weren't able to see who had turned it on in your
Right.
company. So we've improved that. So now you're going to be able to see, okay, this person hasn't done it yet. I can go and force them instead of the nice, hey, would you like to turn this on message you used to get. So yeah, we're putting in some more controls around it. But no, multi-factor authentication absolutely exists. It
Is
runs
there any
through.
reason why someone would feel like it's not safe or not working correctly?
Not that I know of. No. If they want to contact me, we can have a
Yeah,
look
I'll
at
put you
what
in.
might
I'll
be
put
the
you in
issue.
touch.
Yeah.
I'll put you in
Yeah.
touch for sure.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely. Because
and what about
that's working across access products, and there's thousands of them. So
and
we
then
all use the same thing.
the Vinny the marketing automation we've mentioned in the past, but like, what's the plan around that? Because that it does feel like the Bullhorn Hairfish
Hmm.
acquisition was they gobbled up so much market share because of that one
Yeah,
platform
absolutely.
just to speed everything up. So what I know you were building an internal thing previously,
Hmm.
but with your marketplace mindset now, what's the plan?
Yep, still building the internal one. So we still have VinnyMate,
Yeah.
and we are looking to improve that. So that's still there. You can still use that through us. You can build those journeys. But then we are also opening up to those other marketplace partners. So we partner with Smart AI. I put a customer onto them recently and it was exactly what they needed. Sense, we partner with a lot of these automation tools, but we do also have our own internal one. Our internal one allows you can do more with ours because it's straight into our database rather than our publicly available API. So
Yeah.
yeah, we have that. You can reach out and get a demo, and we that's why we're doing so much work on our API as well. Adding all those webhooks. We have more and more customers who want to build their own
Mm.
automation. as well. So again, that's why we are spending a lot of our time. So it's those small fixes for our customers, improving the UI, but then improving that API so that those webhooks are there for people to use, so that they can build what they need.
How
Not
do you,
Yeah.
because you've got so many clients globally, like how
Yeah.
would you decide as a team which change to make? Because surely, like, you could have at any one time, let's say 100 different things that one company wants here and one company wants there. I
hmm
can imagine that's difficult because you want to please everyone, but you can't because you're
Yeah.
just one team yourself. So how do you make that decision on what's most important?
So we do encourage people to use the product portal where they submit their ideas. If you go and look at that now, you'll see that your ideas are there and you can vote. So there is a bit of a popularity contest with some of those things. So if you do want your feature to get into the roadmap, make sure you submit it to us so it's there. Because once it's there and others see it and think that's a great idea, I would love that as well. Straight away, that's going to go up the priority list. So it's
That does
things
it.
like that
Does
where
that
I
not?
am always getting asked for things, or it's like I said, we've got strategic items in mind where we know we need to improve Vincere. The goal console, for one, is an
Yeah,
area that needs improvement. You mentioned the retained jobs before. You can
yeah.
do a retained job. What it doesn't do is auto calculate the difference at the end. So it's missing one step at the end. So we have plans to fix that. Like it's just putting the polish on a lot of the features while we continue to improve what's sitting behind it so that it's faster, more intuitive, less clicky. Um, and yeah, there's not going to be any big features added. It is going back to our core market, our core customers, listening to them, seeing what they need. It is that small to mid market that we are purely focused on right now.
Mm.
And
And in
that's
terms
where
of,
everything's coming
you just
from.
said then that, like, if I submit an idea,
hmm
it'll be on a portal and I can vote on other people. So, but that's a
Yes.
very much a, is that a that's a proactive action from me. So, is there any way, do you alert people to these as well or not? Do you say, look, we've had this request. What do you think? Like, is there any like focus group conversation going out, or is it
Yes.
all
Yes.
dependent on internal
No.
action, proaction?
So we have just started our voice of the customer, which we are calling the VPPs, which is our Vinny product pioneers. We are starting to build a group together of people who engage with us regularly, who are positive, coming on the Vinny journey, want to make Vinny better. We have so many customers who are just amazing and have great ideas and give us incredible feedback. So we'll be taking these ideas as well to that group. We're just working out how we're going to do that at scale. We're thinking how we get everyone chatting. I don't really want a WhatsApp group, so we're just trying to work out the technology behind it. But we do already have the people, and we are engaging with them. Like I said, I did hire someone whose entire role here is product enablement, so he would have
Mhm.
been reaching out to a lot of those people individually. But now it's how can we make that happen at scale? So there will be groups of customers that they can join and yeah, give us that feedback. So what we'll do is we'll take the prototypes that we design based on ideas and say, did we get this right? Also send those out and get feedback from people. We're looking at tools that can uh, basically test the intuitiveness of our designs. So they sit over the top and they'll say, do this action, and then we can track where they clicked, so we can say, oh, okay, that they clicked somewhere we weren't expecting. Okay, that's interesting. We've obviously got that button in the wrong spot. Like, how are people using the system? So we're building up towards that. We've got really big plans in the new year, and yeah, really excited to start launching some of that from a product perspective. So yeah, the product portal is proactive. Put your ideas in. If you want to join our VPPs, reach out.
I
And
think I think that's the
yeah.
key. I think one thing I think if we finish the show here is you are very much a face of the business that is prepared to listen and talk. So, like, if people want to message you,
Oh,
you'll give
absolutely.
them time. It's not like, I don't know. I think you look at businesses like Access, it feels quite faceless. It feels like they're big bad. Whereas Vinny was always You could get
Uh,
hold of
no,
Eloise, you could get hold of Bernie if you needed to, like, and that's
absolutely.
how people look. So now
I
it's
was,
about people taking that with you.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. Look, I was on a client call. I think it was like 3 a.m. in Australia a couple of weeks
Mm,
ago. I was in bed at the time and I got a message through and I went, I got to deal with this right now. So I
mm,
reached out and said, hey, you want to jump on a call? He's like, oh my gosh, what time is it? I'm like, 3 a.m., but this is important. Let's talk about it. So I am extremely passionate about this industry and
mm.
building the product for this industry. I am here because I was frustrated as a recruiter. So I get it. And I want to talk to our users. It's hard to talk to all 20,000 users. So that's where we want to scale.
Yeah,
But I am absolutely there. And that's where having Matt has taken a lot of that stuff I was doing. He will also jump on with customers as well, to chat through their issues. So we're both available from a product perspective. But then again, we'll be doing this at scale. You're going to see a lot more webinars. You're going to see a lot more content, and we'll be engaging with you as much as we can. Again, we can't do everyone's ideas. We get hundreds.
yeah,
So the priorities of, okay, it will go along the lines of, that's a great idea. You definitely can't do that now. We should move that up. If there is another way of doing it that might not be ideal, but you can do it, that might drop it down a little and we'll bring it up. But it really just depends. But if I get a lot of people saying, this is what we want, or there's so many times why I leave room in our sprints for these. I got one this morning where I straight away tagged the PO and said, pop this in your next quarter. I want this done. It was
yeah.
just such a good idea. So but it was the simple thing. Again, it's not some big flashy feature. It is just making recruiters' lives easier, taking away the
Yeah.
admin. Yeah, I mean, my son's actually started in recruitment a few months ago, so it's been interesting watching his journey. Yeah, didn't quite expect him to go into recruitment, but he has. And watching the way that, yeah, he's building those relationships, and it just reminded me again, like, why I love this industry, and it's the relationships. So I don't want the system to be hard. I don't want to make your
Mm,
jobs hard. I want to make it
yeah,
easier, so
yeah.
that you can build those relationships, because that's how you stand out. That's how you keep those candidates with you. That's how you foster their careers, and that's how you keep those clients, is by giving them the time that I'm going to want to give to you. So
100%.
yeah,
Kristy, thanks so much for coming back and showing us again what you're up to and being so open. I hope people have enjoyed listening again, and I hope people keep asking you questions and keep using LinkedIn as a way to get directly to you, because
yeah,
you are, like you say,
absolutely.
you're trying your best. Um, we've got more Vinny Hoxo episodes planned in the future for different topics, but for now, I think we've really gone into detail on the product. If anyone has any further questions, hopefully they'll reach out to you. I wish you the
Yep,
best of luck for the rest of the year.
thank you.
Enjoy Vietnam.
Will do.
Don't don't get stuck in the city. Get yourself back to the rural Australia where you're meant to be. And calm.
Yeah, I'll head back for Christmas. So yeah.
Lovely. Yeah,
All
I'll
right.
speak to you very soon. Thanks so much.
Alright. Thanks, Sean. Bye.
Thank you as always for listening to today's show. I truly hope that you got value from it. Honestly, it's the only reason I take time every week to ensure that my audience, you guys, future and existing recruitment owners, you're learning from each other to make this industry that I love so much stronger. And today's episode is brought to you by my business, Hoxo. I'm the CEO and founder, and we're on a mission to help brand recruitment agencies and their people better. I want to help people have the tools to stand out in the most competitive markets in the world. We're currently working with over 350 recruitment agencies and 5,000 of their consultants right now, helping them to build their personal brands, to consistently win more business, attract talent, and just become that go-to recruiter in the market. Now, we do have a huge coaching program, but a lot of people don't know we also manage the brands of a lot of founders, and we can do the rebrand of that company organizational piece as well. So if your recruitment agency either needs help to look and sound exactly how you want it to, or your leadership and consultant level need to get out there and drive more traffic back to that website, to the business, and start using LinkedIn to generate more revenue, then you should definitely be reaching out to us. If that sounds of interest, please do visit www.hoxomedia.com or drop me, Sean, a personal message on LinkedIn. I love hearing from RAG listeners. I would love to talk to you. Look forward to it. So I'll see you again next week with another episode. Catch you soon.